So the light is here. You don't need any handouts for the time for all ages or anything?
I think that Katie has a hand.
I don't think everybody knows about turning the spotlights on.
Turning them off at the end.
Okay.
And you have to push it all the
That
way
is your
down.
responsibility. It has to go. If you push it like that, it's not off.
And then we get fussed off.
Okay, thank you. Do I need to close this door?
And then we close that door.
I'm
Right?
officially a worship associate.
Yeah, I think you are. You don't want to bring the on yourself? I do.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We're going to open this space today with some slightly adapted words by Reverend Melanie Morell Ensminger. Come, come, whoever you are welcome here. Whatever your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. However you came here, if you came alone or with others, you are welcome here. Whoever you love or how you speak, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes, you are indeed welcome here. If you come with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands, you are welcome here. Thank you for that prelude, Jane. Wow. Yes. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of New Orleans. For almost 200 years, this congregation has been a beacon of liberal faith, spiritual self-fulfillment, and commitment to making our community and our world a better place for all. I'm Tucker. My pronouns are he, him, or they, them. If you're a visitor, we invite you to raise your hand so that we can greet you. Hey. Hey, friends. Welcome. Also, we want to ensure that everyone in attendance can hear the service in its entirety. So if you're unable to hear either Justice or I or other speakers today, please wave your hand or give us one of these, and we'll do our best to speak up. As some of you know, we are a lay-led congregation. On Sunday mornings, we ask you ministers, community members, organizers, leaders from social justice organizations, and our own beautiful members to be voices of hope, courage, and spiritual or intellectual transformation from our pulpit. Our worship leader today is Justice Singleton. Justice, pronouns he, him, is a Black trans educator, screenwriter, director, poet, stand-up comedian, and drag burlesque artist who lives in New Orleans. Originally from Los Angeles, Justice moved to New Orleans seeking community, healing, and queer liberation. Here in New Orleans, he leads community writers' rooms that inspire radical education and systemic storytelling. He continues to work as an actor, educator, television, and film Imagineer. Justice Singleton does all of this while managing a queer farm in Mississippi. All right, y'all. I'll invite you to rise in body or spirit and join me in lighting the chalice of our heritage. We'll read the words that you'll find in your order of service, and then join us in our sung response following. Yesterday, our distant ancestors Please remain as you are for our opening hymn that's in your gray hymnal, number 300, With Heart and Mind. Please be seated.
Good morning. Wait, can you hear me? Hello? Yes, you can hear? Okay, great. So I'm going to make an announcement in a second, but while I'm doing that, my helpers are going to pass out these little cute cards that are called caring cards. So just keep them by you, and I'm going to explain what they're for in a minute. And there's some pencils in the pews, so when you write on them, you can use those. Or there's also some crayons and pens in the baskets, so you can take one of those as well. But my announcement is that the Crew of Kids for Change, which is our annual fundraiser where y'all bring your loose change and our kids vote on a cause that they care about and donate the money to that cause. So we had our annual Crew of Kids for Change counting party where we sorted and collected all the change yesterday, and we made $407. Yay! Very exciting. Thank you everyone for participating, and because we've been doing some climate justice work with the kids and families, we wanted to direct the money in that way, and so they voted on 3 different climate justice groups, and the one they chose was Healthy Gulf. And their mission is to collaborate with and serve communities who love the Gulf of Mexico by providing the research, communications, and collaboration building tools needed to reserve the long pattern of overexploitation of the Gulf's natural resources. Healthy Gulf focuses on a just transition that moves us away from extractive systems of energy production, consumption, and political oppression and towards resilience, regeneration, and equitable economies. So thank you everyone for contributing, yay! And special thanks to the RE team for pulling that together. I usually run that project and I was out on medical leave, so thank you, big shout out to the RE team for making that happen and for y'all for bringing your change. Thank you so much. So now, did everyone get a little card? A little caring card? Okay, good. So I'd like to invite those young and young at heart up to the carpet circles or the Time for All Ages cushions. I know that's not what they're called, but that's what we call them here. Anybody want to join me? It's so lonely up here, all by myself. Thank you. Yay. Okay. Hi, thank you, Young at Heart. Yeah, thank you, young and young at heart. I'm young, I'm not young at heart. Oof, oh my goodness. What a wild time to be alive. Am I right? Yeah. Really, it's just so wild. It's a lot. So raise your hand if in the last few months you felt any of these feelings. Overwhelm, stress, anxiety, fear of the unknown, sadness, grief. Oh my gosh, even double hands, yeah, okay. So we can put our hands in, so it's a lot. It's really a lot right now. It's a lot for our hearts and our nervous systems to be going through this, to witness so much active harm to humanity and our planet. It's a lot, right? And to experience just so much chaos going on. And I know that one of the reasons that we all come here is so that we can make sense of the world and make sense of what we find. And that's actually a lyric to one of our hymns, We Laugh, We Cry, and when I was writing this, I didn't know that it was going to be our closing hymn. But I had a premonition. After I wrote it, I was like, I feel like this would be a really good hymn for us to sing today, and we are going to sing it in closing. But there's a line in it, and then we come together here to make sense of what we find, and we believe in life and the strength of love, and we have found a joy being together. Caring for ourselves is an act of love. And today we will celebrate and practice our UU value of love and the spiritual discipline of love by creating caring cards for ourselves. I already lost mine. Here it is. No, I already wrote on mine. Caring cards for ourselves. If we believe in the power of love, we must make it an action. And we can begin that act of love with ourselves by caring for our hearts. We are going, oh, thank you. Oh, yes, I want to decorate mine. We can, so we've passed out these cards, and we can begin, we're going to do this by like caring for our hearts and our nervous systems. So we're going to practice some, and I'm going to give you some examples, but you'll get some time to write on the back 2 to 5 things that you can do to help soothe your heart, to help calm your nervous system. And you can keep this card in your wallet or your bag or on your altar or on your refrigerator or in your car or somewhere that's handy and somewhere that you can turn to it when you feel stressed, overwhelmed, fear of the unknown, afraid, or other hard feelings. And these simple acts can help us move the energy through our bodies and help us to know that we are safe when we feel afraid. Help to ground us so that we are ready to face this world with care and love. So we're gonna practice some examples together, and then you can write them on the back, whatever you want. And I'll also I'll go over a few examples and then ask y'all if there's any that I didn't say that you do for yourself that helps to soothe your nervous system, calm your heart, tend to yourself when you're having a hard time. So the first one is singing or chanting. So if you know this song, sing along with me. We're just going to sing it like twice through. And if you don't know it, you can just do what the song is saying. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. One more. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. So singing, it could be that song. You could practice just breathing in peace and breathing out love. Or maybe there's another song that you like that helps to calm yourself. I sometimes like to rock when I'm singing too. That feels really nice. And maybe just rocking is something you want to put on your card, sort of like holding yourself and rocking. There's a reason we have rocking chairs. It's not just because they're fun. They also help to calm our nervous system. The other one is box breathing. I think we've done that here with Reverend Sarah and a couple other guest speakers. So that's when you're gonna breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, and hold for 4 counts. So we're gonna do a cycle of that together. You guys ready? All right, breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. So you can do this practice on your own. Sometimes I like to set a timer for 5 minutes, or you can just do it until you kind of feel yourself relax a little bit. So that's number 2. And then we're gonna do this. I just learned this in the Aiming for Allyship course that I'm taking, so I wanna share it with you guys. Some of you may know it, but I thought it seemed like a really nice and very sweet thing to add to. I put it on my Karen card. It's called butterfly tapping. Barrett's gonna be my demonstrator. So you hold your hands out with your palms facing each other. With your thumbs facing each other, and then turn it so your palms are facing out. And now cross your hands and link your thumbs together, and then put your palms on your heart. So you have a little butterfly on your heart. And now you're gonna tap, raise one set of fingers up and then down. So you're gonna alternate your hands on your heart. And you could do it really fast. So if you're feeling really anxious, it might be like super fast. And then the more you do it, the more your nervous system calms down, and maybe the butterfly gets a little slower, or maybe you just like the feeling of it going fast. But things like this are good to help balance the nervous system, regulate the nervous system. Also walking, so anything where your like left and right bodies are alternating helps to calm down the nervous system. So that's called butterfly tapping. I think that's what it's called. So some other examples are doing some jumping jacks or shaking the body That's not for all of us. It's definitely not for me. Walking, as I just mentioned. Dancing, maybe like putting on some music that you really like and just dancing it out, moving your body, or going somewhere where you can dance with other people. Sitting or laying on the ground or against a tree, but not one that's covered in caterpillars. Please be careful out there. It's serious right now. So, does anybody have any other examples that they really like to do to help calm their nervous system or heart when they're feeling really anxious or afraid? Yeah, Amy. Pet your dog. If you have a pet, yes, pets are so good for helping calm the nervous system. Your dog or your cat or your turtle or whatever other cool pets you might have. Or if you have a friend who has a dog, you can go and pet their dog if you're not allergic, of course. What else? Anybody else? Yes, Anne. Gardening, yes, getting our hands in the dirt, watching life bloom, helping to, your garden is so beautiful at your house, with so many flowers. I always admire it whenever I come by. So gardening, that's great. Anybody else? Yeah, Genevieve. Cuddling with your cat. Yeah, what's your cat's name? Noodle. Oh my gosh, what a cute name. Noodle sounds like that they would be an excellent cuddler. Yeah. All right, those are some really good ones. So I invite you to write them on the little back of your card. I wrote on mine box breathing, walking, butterfly tapping, and hugging a tree. I really like to hug trees when they're not covered in buck moth caterpillars, obviously, as previously discussed. Great. So y'all can take some time to do that throughout the service if you come up with something or if you heard something here. And this can also be available for others. Like if you you see someone who's like really stressed or anxious, you can maybe do some butterfly tapping with them or ask them if they want to go for a walk. So it's for us, but it's also so we can help others when we see that they need support. And if when you're done, we'll leave the little baskets up here so you can return your markers or crayons or pens, and then, or if you want some crayons to color in your card, if you're like, I don't know what this crayon's for, but now you're like, I really want to color it blue, then there'll be some crayons up here for y'all. So thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoy your caring cards.
Thank you, Katie. Caring for our nervous systems. Woof. All right, y'all, we're going to enter into our meditation in a moment. Justice is going to share with us a poem for the meditation. Then we'll enter into a time of silence, which we close by singing together, Voice Still and Small, the words for which are in your order of service.
Good morning. This poem is called One Art by Elizabeth Bishop. Oh, okay, I gotta talk like this, yes, okay. Oh, thank you. It's been a minute, you know. Okay, to start. The art of losing isn't hard to master. So many things seem filled with intent to be lost that their loss is no disaster. Lose something every day, except the fluster of lost door keys, the hour badly spent. The art of losing isn't hard to master. Then practice losing farther, losing faster. Places and names and where it was you meant to travel. None of these will bring disaster. I lost my mother's watch, and look, my last and next to last of 3 loved houses went. The art of losing isn't hard to master. I lost 2 cities, lovely ones, and vaster in some realms I owned, 2 rivers, a continent. I missed them, but it wasn't a disaster. Even losing you, the joking voice adjuster I love, I shouldn't have lied. It's evident, the art of losing, not too hard to master. Though it may look like, that's your idea, like disaster. Thank you.
Please join me as we read our responsive reading, the words for which are in your order of service. This is called Deeper. I'll begin, and then please respond with the text in italics. We would go deeper. We would become the selves we cannot even imagine today. We would become courageous. We would grow to delight in congregations filled with different perspectives. We would know unutterable joy. We would be filled with gratitude. May we go deeper. May our time together open our hearts and sharpen our minds. May our learning know no end. May we find the sacred within and around us. May we see the beauty in each other's faces. May we find our way to the depth of our being and there know holiness. All right, Justice, it's all you.
Good morning. I'll be honest. Writing this sermon was hard. I have ADHD. And the last sermon I wrote, I was like really in grief, and now it's just kind of normal. So it's hard. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to say a prayer that I wrote. Please take a deep breath in with me. Dear earth, air, fire, water, all the ancestors that came before and after us, thank you for this place, the people, and the love gathered here this morning. Thank you for nurturing us to feel held. Please continue to inspire us to seek your enlightenment, love, and connection to life. So I'm nervous because I think my sermon is depressing. When we are at a loss. And honestly, it might be, because I am depressed. I feel like I've been depressed, to be honest, since I was a child. And I learned that you don't get everything you want in life. And I'm sure some form of this will feel kind of like, what is going on? Because I really don't know what is going on. And I'm sure we all feel that way now. So, for those that don't know me, my name is Justice Singleton. As Tucker has said, I am originally from LA. My depression has been around for, I guess, more recently, the last 3 to 4 years. Prior to my depression, I have been very active in the things that were probably named in my bio, comedy and drag and social gatherings and all the holidays, and all the Mardi Gras parties, and even the late nights at clubs like Po' Boys, which I know some people know about. I was outside. I was so outside, in fact, that I did not know what it was like to really be inside myself. A lot of that socialization has changed. And ironically, it wasn't COVID. It was something inside me that was disconnecting with the world, my idea of the world. What had changed me was loss. I grieved the world that was flipped by COVID, but I also grieved myself. Friendships that I couldn't manage, people I felt unseen by and couldn't see, relationships that required my full presence that I couldn't give, parts of myself that I needed to explore but was afraid to step in. And at this point, I'm not sure if I'm any better. I have several therapists and friends posing as therapists, and I still am at a loss. So I sort of created this cloud this narrative. I made up this story in my head that when I am at a loss or losing loved ones or friendships or memories or my focus, I'm alone. And I'm the only one feeling lost, when in fact, I realize that we are all so lost. When I was spending time with my brother in Atlanta, he's a 7-year-old, his birthday is the same day as Marvin Gaye. And so I'm texting Tucker, what do I feel like I want people to listen to? And I'm like, Marvin Gaye. He has a song, What Is Going On, that, I mean, if we think of the history, it is like he's always naming every day of injustices that are always going on. And for me, I have this realization that if we look at each other, we are all siblings. We have to look out for each other. And in this narrative, if you've ever felt like you've lost something, then just turn to each other and be like, yeah, I felt that. Because we are a family that has lost something. So, background. I am the oldest of 7 kids. I know, a lot. I didn't spend as much time with my siblings, so I was a very dramatic child. I should have been in theater school, but I wasn't. So I had tantrums, I had big questions, feelings, opinions. I talked too much, as I do now, to strangers and anyone, and I got bad grades. And I watched myself be left behind in classes. And this was all before I realized that I had ADHD. So I really felt like I missed out. So when I made my worst mistakes as a child, disappointed my parents, my teachers, friends, I would bang my head against a windshield and I would say, I hate my life. And I didn't even know what life was, right? And so to the child in me and to the current me, I don't really know what power or control I have over life. And it sometimes feels pointless. As adults, we often continue this ritual of powerlessness, but we try to attain something. Often challenges of creating normalcy, whether it's individuals or collective maintaining, it's all an uphill battle. And often we cannot hold ourselves in the challenges of morality. In the face of this world, even when we feel alone, we sometimes feel like losers. And I'll speak for myself that I sometimes feel like a loser. And I know what you're gonna say, like, I'm not a loser, and Justice, you're not a loser, but I don't mean this in an insulting way. I mean this in a kind of gorgeous way. See, a loser is someone who has lost or frequently lost something. It's not like a person who's just being left out. A loser is someone who has lost their keys, a game, someone's approval, a job, a lover, a home, your own mind. And I'm sorry, but if you have lost any of these, then yes, you are a loser too. And that's okay. Wait for this. See, I told you it's depressing, but hold on. You may be wondering what I'm saying. See, I say that we are losers because we are also trying to win, right? We are trying to win, but we don't exactly know what winning will look like or when it will come. For some of us, it looks like having access to health care. It looks like winning a race or competition. It looks like abolishing incarceration or denouncing Zionism. It may look like protesting deportations or being involved with someone's release, including your own. It may look like you're losing while you're trying to win. And yeah, when I think of losing, I think like, what is life without loss? How can we really know what we value, what we love, what is actually going on without loss? I personally didn't know, much about loss except for the basics of when I lost my keys in my wallet and I got a tile. And then I was like, oh my God, this tile is saving me from so much grief. Now I still have the anxiety of loss, but it's different now, you know? Losing often means you're beginning to explore a place in yourself, in your community, in a way that you have never imagined. We often have to lose to be open to possibilities of life. So for me, I feel like when I look at the way the world is, I think we have to experience the before and the after, which looks like failure and success. We have to lose our lovers to make sense of ourselves. We have to lose our friends to wonder what it's like to be cared for. We have to lose faith in our government to realize that our government does not own our rights or our freedom. We have to lose hope to restore and strengthen our faith. And we often have to lose ourselves to find a home in a community that accepts us for who we are, like this one. When we are losers, when we are losing, we are forced to surrender and to give up the ethic that we need to lose or win. When we are at a loss that is so confusing and it looks like it's just the beginning and like we're not getting closer to ourselves, we are in fact the closest to our souls and our spiritual bodies. And right now I'm exploring what it means to be a loser. I experienced it young sort of fighting and hurting myself. And as an adult, I'm actually feeling like in loss, I have a sense of peace. A sense that if I lose control of time or the way the world is, and I can't control, I am in fact grateful. When I lost my father, I lost connections to people. When I lose my glasses, I lose my sight. When I miss doctor's appointments because I lost my time, or I lose my power of prayer because I lost my faith and my ego is in the way, I am beginning to understand the art of loss as something deeper, that all those things don't bring disaster. Which, again, I hope this isn't a bummer, but I'll get to more of my point. I came across this poem because my partner, Liliana, is in a writer's group. And each time someone entered the writer's group, they had to read the poem, so they ended up reading it like 8 times. And each person who read it in the group had to understand the fullness of it. So I apologize, I know we read the poem, and I read it, but it's gonna feel like we might be reading it 4 times, and it's because it has layers. The art of losing isn't hard to master. So many things filled with intent to be lost that their loss is no disaster. Lose something every day. Accept the fluster of lost door keys, the hour badly spent. The art of losing isn't hard to master. I lost 2 cities, lovely ones and vaster, some realms I owned, 2 rivers, a continent. I missed them, but it wasn't a disaster. Even losing you, the joking voice, a gesture I love, I shan't have life. It's evident the art of losing is a disaster. So many things seem with intent to be lost that their loss is no disaster. I read this poem and I wondered what is going on here besides lost? How can there be intention behind loss? I wonder, how can losing my keys or my wallet, a loved one, a job, a home, your land, your country, hold any intention? And depending on who you are or how you look, you may be facing a losing lifetime battle that feels like you can't fight white supremacy. And maybe you're losing your feelings of economic equality or not able to afford healthcare or housing. And you wonder, this can't be intentional. And sometimes people's agendas are absolutely intentional. And it may enrage you. You may think like, what if we're just catching and throwing all that comes in our way, and whatever scale that descends upon you or your community, it all feels like it's a time of loss. But for me, it's more exploration of not carrying disappointment and finding solutions. Carrying peace, teaching lessons of love and gratitude. Sometimes when I am feeling the most loss, I realize that I have to look at the solution, the thing that is actually giving us joy. And sometimes I look for moments of connection, understanding, revolutions, and serendipity that comes that I didn't know could happen out of the loss. She says, lose something every day. And that is so hard for me to accept. Losing something every day. The other day, I was picking up my pharmacy medication, and I had to go there 3 times. The first time I came, they said, it's too late, you gotta come back. The second time I came, they said, they're closed, you gotta come back. The third time I came, and this lady who had just bought her car and was showing everyone pictures of it, was like, I'll pay for your medication. And I said, no, it's only $25. I can do it. And she goes, I have nothing to lose. And I said, wow, that's intention. When I think I'm losing time, effort, I'm gaining wisdom. I'm approaching my presence. I'm learning about being grateful and passing it on. I'm conceding to the fluster of traffic. And it's just like anything else. When you lose someone, you gain an angel, a guide, someone watching over you or sitting on your altar. When you lose a community member, especially out here, you have a second line, a celebration. We make offerings. Elizabeth then says, then practice losing farther, losing faster, places, names where it was you meant to travel. None of these will bring disaster. And I'm trying to think of what it means to travel with and towards loss. Really the overall journey of life and death, grieving and recovering, loving so deeply that it feels like you're farther than where you have been. Your place, your name, your body changing tempo, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Someone in my community just is going through a journey of loss. They lost their mother in their home in a fire. And the disaster of the situation is heartbreaking. Imagining the journey of that loss. How can I really believe that people who are going through genocide or losing their homes or their mother in one night are in fact in a journey of loss that does not have disaster? And I think what I imagined, excuse me for a second, a lot of pages. I think what I imagine is this feeling of, I got nothing to lose now. In a way of when I think of that lady who got her new car, I think so much can be taken with you, taken from you, that in fact your heart and who you love is the only thing you have. And what an opening I actually think that is. I imagine to feel like when we are going through our moments that bring disaster, we are actually beginning to have new beginnings. And when we lose so deeply, we begin to see that when we have nothing to lose, there's no return. There's only a forward place to go. What's lost is lost, and instead we have to contend with the processing of losing what and who we love. But somehow, we love more? My favorite part of this poem is, I lost my mother's watch. And look, my last and next to last of 3 loved houses went. The art of losing isn't hard to master. I lost 2 cities, lovely ones and vaster, some realms I owned, 2 rivers, a continent. I missed them, but it wasn't a disaster. And what I hear in that is transition. Every year we age, a chapter is born and then it dies. We learn to lose more than ourselves, pieces, parts of ourselves and each other, and often at times we can't imagine how are we put together stronger, more open, at peace, driven with boundaries. My grandmother, I spent a week and a half with her on a road trip, and she's 74, and she just lost her sister. She also lost her son, my father. And in her age and in this time of uncertainty, she is in another transition of loss. And she says, this time my grieving will look different. And she says, I want to pick something of theirs I cherish, and I want to live my life with that. So her sister, Bucky, is the funniest, sweetest, dances randomly, carries no anger. And she says, at 74, I'm going to start carrying no anger. Loss, the way that you don't return back to having time with a loved one, but you can carry them with you, is a new beginning. I read this a lot, and when I read this poem, I go, she's doing a lot. Like, she's really going through nonstop losses and gains, and what I imagine is she's learning how to lose something and gain the lesson so quickly. How do you hold your head down and then pick it back up? How do you kneel and then stand again? How do you protest and then organize? How do you be still and then move? How do you master the art of losing? To the point that you don't even recognize the chaos and your own growth, and you're just moving through it. It feels so overwhelming, you know? I was gardening with a friend, and they told me that, because I don't know how to garden and I own a farm, we'll talk about that later behind the scenes. And they told me when you're putting a new plant in, you have to break up the roots. They literally use the words, you have to traumatize them. You have to break them up so they have something to attach to. And I immediately was like, so my trauma means I'm growing? My trauma means that my suffering is actually survival and expansion? An expansion of loss, there's more grief. But there's resistance, there's care, there's vulnerability, there's thought, there's response. There's years of chaos brought upon us, acknowledging that we are a vulnerable people. Here in southern Louisiana, but also in Sudan, Congo, Palestine, we are seeing the taking of land and the expansion of people, being pushed, being swayed, but also mobilizing. A culture that is actually entirely indestructible, no matter what people say, because they are expanding, in fact. An identification that we have across continents is that we all don't like colonialism. And we are being traumatized with it and faced with it, and instead of looking like we need to detach, we are attaching towards each other. And I think in that loss, we are learning together to celebrate life and to protect it. I'm almost done. When I first read the last section, this one for me is complicated, so please stick with me. Even losing you, the joking voice, a gesture I love, I shan't have lied. It's evident the art of losing isn't hard to master, though it may look like, it says write it, like a disaster. When I first read this section, I was like, you know, I did play losing as if it doesn't bother me after I lost. Like, you guys ever lost something and then you're like, yeah, I lost that thing, and it, whatever, it doesn't matter. Or maybe you went through grief and you were kind of just like, I have to move on, I have to continue. And I thought, man, we really do lie to ourselves about loss. How is it that we kind of live in this world, especially around COVID, where we were facing so much and then we just moved on? And there's sort of a pro and con in this, because it's about what we're keeping, how we're holding and caring for each other, but also how we're releasing that pain. I used to think about how I play basketball and I hope that the last seconds I would shoot the winning basket and everyone would pick me up in Mighty Ducks. And whether the team won the game or not, I made the basket. And every time I would shoot, I would just actually brick the ball. And the team would just celebrate the fact that they got to go to McDonald's or Papa John's. And I would just hold losing the entire night. If only I made the shot. And I feel like I treat every loss in my life like a disaster, and I've lied to myself about the various losses. I've both holded on to them, but I've also released them too quickly. And there's something about that like being attuned to yourself in the loss. You decide when to let go, and you decide what you get to keep. When I was a child, I said I hated myself, even though I realized the most blessed days were still upon me. I held on to it because I couldn't figure out how to be okay with loss and how to move forward with love. I had the most frustrating days where I literally felt like I couldn't figure out what I needed to eat or drink or what I wanted or didn't wanted, how to do my taxes. And in these days of loss, I just thought to myself like, oh, I'm alone. No one understands this, when in fact the entire world understands it. The moment I get to look out the window or ground myself or learn how to care for someone, including myself, I have the notion that loss is actually just this long game of love. It's this long game of saying, I've lost and I found, and I've lost and I found, deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm encouraging you all to hold on to the idea of loss as something beautiful, to think of this idea of losers as in fact this long game in which winning or losing is not the point. It is the deepening of your soul and the deepening of finding peace. And if you're like me and you hold on to devastation or grief or anger, hate or Instagram, holding parts of yourself is just really about deciding how loved and how liberated you need to be. Making decisions that say, this loss is going to make me feel so blessed. I hope this sermon didn't sound so depressing. And what I really want you to just understand from me is that I love, in some ways, understanding myself as a loser, because I know that we are all lost, and I can find each other in you. Thank you.
Woo. Woo. Wow. Thank you, Justice. I heard some things I needed to hear today. Thank you. All right, friends. Generosity is a spiritual discipline. We'll now practice our act of giving, either by placing your offering in the collection plate or by using the information in your order of service to give electronically. We are going to listen to the incredible What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. I believe because of copyright issues, if you're on the live stream, you'll hear silence. Is that true? Great, okay. You'll hear silence, but we'll be right back. All right, thanks, y'all. Gifts to this community of faith are gratefully received. Let us acknowledge these gifts by reading together the words in your order of service. This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world. Thank you. We have a couple of announcements before we do our closing hymn today. 2 spotlight announcements. Jafia, would you like to come up here? And other announcements, just so y'all know, can be found in our weekly digest. If you're not included on that, ask one of our greeters in the back, and we'll take your email down and get you the info you need. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. So I'm hoping that people have been seeing in the digest the messages about the, catch my breath, the messages about the Sacred Reckonings, which is our training for the work on reparations. And it's one evening and one full day on May 9th and 10th. And we have enough people that everyone will be included in. The board is going ahead and paying the full amount so that we all can participate. And what is important is that everyone who wants to learn enough about the history and the what our congregation has done historically and wants to be a part of this work, we really want to see people show up and come and be a part. You don't have to take on the whole thing to be a part, to find some piece where your work in the church can feed into this work of reparations. We are looking at it, if you read what we've already said, we're looking at reparations as something larger than just wealth return. We don't, but we do think wealth return is important, but it's also about the spirituality and relationship building and all of those things. So we really want to see as many people as can make the time to do it, show up and become a part of it, because there's a lot of different pieces in our congregation, and if we want to see it work, it's really important that we have full participation so that we can think it through and move it through and be good losers. Be good losers. So please see me or Amy and let us know if you are ready to sign up. But we need to let the people who are offering the training know who all is going to attend. So everyone, this is a great way to be a good loser. And who's the other person?
Thanks, Jafia. It's going to be Barrett. Do you want to come up here? Would you like the handheld? Great.
I was also going to talk about that, so thank you, Jafia. I got it up, so I'll just read.
Thank you, Justice.
It says, Sacred Reckonings is a holistic process that assumes that reparation is more than just wealth return. It includes truth-telling, spiritual practice, relationship, political solidarity, and wealth return. So I had it out because I was going to also mention it, but you beat me to it. So talk to Jafia or Amy. We need people who are like committed to doing that work. Question?
No, I have something I'd like to announce real quickly.
Okay, well, I'm making an announcement. So, so the other thing is that we have a anonymous donor who's agreed to fund 2 people to go to the UU General Assembly to be delegates on behalf of our church. So this is very exciting. Normally, we can't afford to like fund people going, so it's just kind of like, oh, well, who's gonna be there? This is a great opportunity if you're interested in going to General Assembly, connecting to UUs outside of New Orleans. They have cool workshops, and you get to go to Baltimore. Your travel, housing, and like conference registration cost would be covered. So we're looking for 2 people who want to do that, and you would have to go to the business sessions and vote on behalf of the church and represent like what you feel like our congregation would believe with regards to important decisions in Unitarian Universalism. It's a really cool way to be engaged in the faith. So if you're interested, keep an eye on your email. We will be sending out an application this week, hopefully tomorrow, through Breeze. So it'll come into your email. And if you have questions or want to know more or are interested but don't see my email, talk to me or talk to Jafia. Jody, do you want to?
And I'm sorry, Tucker and the worship team, I didn't think ahead far enough. I just want to share with y'all that we are members of Together New Orleans, and Together New Orleans has monthly meetings, and we're hosting the monthly meeting for all of our institutions, which is probably we're at about 65 or something. So it will be here on Tuesday, April 22nd, that's the Tuesday after Easter, and we'll hold it in the Rain Fellowship Hall. So it's from 5 to 6:30 p.m. I didn't realize it's the same date as the board meeting that night. Boo, bad me, I'm so sorry. But anyway, I would encourage you to come. If you don't know what Together New Orleans is about, we're embarking on the future of our city strategy, and we're working to get 100 institutions to sign on to it. So this is leading up to the mayoral election in the fall. So I welcome y'all to come. It will be Tuesday, April 22nd, 5 p.m. in the Fellowship Hall. Thanks.
Amazing, thank you. Okay, so please stand in body or spirit and join in our chalice extinguishing, which is in your order of worship. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth. And please remain as you are for our closing hymn. That is again in the gray hymnal, number 354, We Laugh, We Cry. Even to question truly is an answer. Thanks, y'all. At its founding, our church was known as the Strangers Church. Please turn and greet your neighbor and join us for coffee hour just outside these back doors to your left. Thank you.